John, the animals. How are you, buddy? You well?
I'm always well, Phil.
Well, we better start off with what shirt you're wearing today.
Well, as you know, I decided to break up the black team from last season.
Yeah.
Because I felt we needed to promote more youth, and we've done that successfully.
Yeah.
But in doing so, we've also gone top and bottom, Phil.
Okay.
So we've gone 6 masters and 2 juniors.
Okay.
And I say juniors, Jay Shaw, big shout out to Jay, just had a baby son, Lando, on the weekend. So
congratulations.
Yeah, I think that's number 3, and he's pretty excited.
He's your junior.
He's well at 31. He's relative junior to the rest of us that are mostly over 60. And then we've got young Connor Flowers, and I think we discussed him last time as well. Brilliant young prospect. Obviously very disappointed originally I had Jason Yu.
Yeah.
And as you know, Jason's committed to snooker, and that was absolutely the right way for him to go forward. But yeah, we would have loved to have him, but that's fine. But yeah, this young Connor's going to be very good.
Yeah, no, he's an excellent player.
Well, he's proven to be very keen, and as I mentioned to you earlier, malleable. Someone you can actually mould and work.
Yeah.
And very, very willing to absorb and take advice on board.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll give him a couple of years, and I'll be amazed if he's not knocking on the door for a state team.
Oh no, well I've seen him in here, John. He's played in the tournaments here. He's handy on the snooker table as well. So
well, shout out to his mum and grandma, always there every week supporting him.
Supporters. Fantastic.
But yeah, so this is who we are. Wasn't my choice, the animals, but for rather than the autocratic system that I usually run, JR actually put it to the vote, and everyone came up with a few suggestions, and this was winner.
Okay.
So obviously animals, Eric Burden, big deal in my era. Your dad would know him extremely well. You know, we're all from a similar vintage, and that's why we finished the logo straight off one of the album covers. So hopefully there's no breach of copyright anywhere. I'm sure Eric up there will be more than happy to be represented by people of our standard.
Gentlemen of the Green Bays.
Some say that. But yeah, Super League's going very well. Coming along nicely. People adjusting to the international rules. Not that hard.
Yeah.
And they're loving it. I think the naysayers will actually be a bit quieter in a few more weeks. But there's always going to be, people resist change. But certainly I think the game's going to be better for it.
Well, John, I'm not in the 8-ball scene no more, but I'm on the outskirts of it, and so far what I've heard, everyone's been very positive about the new rules, and they've been enjoying it. So I haven't heard anything negative, John.
That's good. Well, I haven't since pre. It's always before the event. Oh no, it's not right. Good players just made it for the good players, and as we've said, all the way back, good players are going to be good players, and what the rules are. You can change the rules to anything you like, but the top players are still going to end up at the top.
Yeah.
But so be it. But yeah, overall, 2-shot games going well. 2 shots.
Well,
international rules pool's going very well. What did I think of? Oh, I spoke to JR on the weekend regarding the ultimate tables or supreme tables that he's bringing in. So he's already sold the whole container, and he's got another one coming.
Wow.
So yeah, he's done very well. He said he won't even be setting them up. They come in, one shipment goes to Queensland from that. You break the container up, one to Queensland, one to New South Wales, one to Tasmania. That's it.
How good's that?
So yeah, the game is starting to grow, and I think we'll see more and more of those tables around. It'll take a little while, I think, for the rooms to change, because that's a very big expense.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, Alex got 12 tables. I think Chalker's got 12 standard 7-foot tables.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I can't see them.
Changing them over, and at the end of the day, the majority of their income doesn't come from pool players.
Yeah.
It comes from the casual player that comes into the weekend, brings their mates or girlfriends in, have a couple of drinks, play an hour, 2 hours pool, and they're out the door again. Yeah. They don't care, they're 9 foot, 7 foot, 5 foot, means nothing to them. So.
Well, I seen Ben Kennel today.
Okay, haven't seen Ben before.
I've seen him at his work, and
had
a chat to Ben, and he's still keen on Paul as well, and he told me he had one of the Supreme tables, John.
Oh,
So he told me that's what he's been practicing on at home, and he's watching the Pro Pocket series and got one of them tables. So it's definitely getting some momentum.
Some traction, yeah, and for sure. And then, I mean, obviously, because of the rule set, our traditional 7-foot tables probably don't give you the same luxury of ball in hand that you have on one of the Supreme tables, because the cushions, a ball on the cushion on the Supreme table, the cut's similar to a 9-ball table.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit of margin. You don't have to be absolutely perfect to drop them. So a ball in hand on one of those means that, you know, if you have a ball on the rail, it's not a concern now. You know, we can start with that and we'll work our way down the table. So we'll see. You know, whether we change the cut to the 9-ball table, to the 7-foot tables or not, to make it sort of a little more, I suppose, more in line with what they're playing.
Well, it's a bit like trying to play 9-ball on an 8-ball table. It'd be a totally different game, wouldn't it? When you can't put the balls down the rail.
Well,
not when you can't, but it's not a gimme that you're going to get it. So it's a totally different game.
Well, those early days of Vino, or what we now call Vegas League, played on 7-foot tables, and you got the ball in hand, and those railers didn't go at all. They were tough. Again, things will change, and as the tables become more prevalent, then I think we'll see better results overseas, not just here in Australia.
So on the weekend we had the Pro Pocket Series, number championships 3 and 4, and finally, John, we had a South Australian in the final. Well,
since
this season,
I think James was the only successful one we had in the past.
But this season, Mikey, finally made the final.
Yeah, and you know, I think he was highly disappointed last trip. You know, he expected to do better, but yeah, certainly played very well and sort of had a chance in the final. I watched a lot of the final, and we were actually out at Nate Dogg's birthday, and we were watching it on the phone, trying to have a drink and celebrate. And who won that one? Yeah, that's right. So he had I remember, I think it was a foul. We had to play a cut in the centre and make a cannon on another yellow just to keep the break alive. And he was concentrating so much on making the cannon thick enough that it didn't make the table. We wanted to control it that quick, and the object yellow didn't make the pocket, so ball in hand, and he ended up losing that one. But that could have easily made it 4-all. That was a good game. 4-all would have been a very good game because Mike was playing very well. But all credit to Rusty. He got his chances, he didn't waste them. Yeah. Rusty, well done. Mikey, we know you're going to be there next time. And there's a few more of our South Australians I thought would do a lot better too. But I mean, overall, I think considering the quality of the players we sent or that were playing in the first 2 weekends, to have one feature is quite poor.
Yeah, well, with the ones that are in the tournament, John, Linda is always going to struggle against the men. She's our greatest female player, and we're not denying that, but she's always going to find it tough. I'd love to see Linda in the ladies one.
Well, I agree. I love the fact that she was prepared to accept the challenge to go and play in the Open, but.
Well, I'm not saying that she can't be in there. All I'm saying is
she deserved her spot, and she was invited. So there's no question that, you know, as the female goat, and like she has won everything multiple times. Yeah. And including, you know, snooker, 9-ball, everything you can think of, any Cuesport you can think of, she's won. But there is still a major difference between the top man and the top female in the small table competition. I mean, probably the only one I could remember would be Sue. What's her name? The Scottish girl.
Oh yeah, Thompson.
Sue Thompson. Sue Thompson. She actually won Open professional tournaments in the UK. She's probably the only female I can tell you that could actually have had the ability to match it with any of the guys. Yeah, she had every shot in the book. Very, very confident in her approach. Very aggressive player. And lovely lady off the table. I've had a few chats with her over the years, and she's a sweetheart. certainly she's the only one I could say has ever been able to match it with the top echelon of global pool players.
Well, I would just like to see Lyndall in the ladies as well. Like, she can play both. I'd like to see her play both, because she's going to struggle all the time. Every week's going to be, or every tournament's going to be tough, where I know in the ladies she could be dominating it and getting rewarded for playing it. But my concern is not Lyndall, my concern is Jaden and Alex. I mean, Alex is our greatest ever player. He's the GOAT. Plus, you got Lyndall, the GOAT of the ladies, and Alex is the GOAT of the men's. And he's struggling to win a match, John. Like, he's probably played in eight events.
Eight events now.
He might have won one match,
won
maybe
one match.
two. So you're talking Alex here. So when Alex is struggling to win matches, that's harsh. And Jaden, also another quality player. He's the captain of our state team, and also struggling out there, John. You know, and especially when he drew Brent Reed. Not disrespecting Brent Reed, but I still was confident of Jaden beating Brent.
I felt so too. You know, Jaden was that all-round game, and I think, and I think you brought this up, Bill, is that it's the time thing. Our guys still haven't got used to the fact that, you know, you get behind doesn't mean to say you have to rush, you know, because you haven't got enough time to make it up. You still got to play as you sit. You've got to find your rhythm and stay in that. Yeah. Once you start sort of playing outside of the rhythm you've set, that's when the mistakes start to come.
Yeah.
Because you're rushing shots, you're not taking the same amount of care, and you know where you want to go with the white ball, and you know, errors occur. So I'm sure they'll adjust. I mean, I know that Jaden and Mikey in particular have spent a lot of time at Lyndall's. Lyndall's got street table. And then obviously, you know, they've got Stacey there to practice with too. And you know, I mean, Stacey, I'm surprised Stacey hasn't had a dip at one of the feeder systems, because I think, you know, he needs to do that. I mean, he is still such a good player, and I think in this particular game, and I mentioned this to you before, he should flourish in this game, because it takes away the second thought. He's a natural fudger. Yeah. Where if you say to him, there's no more fudging, you've got to go game every time you go to the table. We'll see a far more expressive and a better style of pool out of Stacey. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, anyway, we know it's just teething problems, and I'm sure Alex and Jaden will be working incredibly hard, and Lyndall, to put some better results on the board next time. And we know that they're all quality players, and cream always rises to the top. So
what they have found interesting is the fact that, you know, 2 Queenslanders win this tournament.
Yeah. 2
tournaments. So Rusty, Andy Bartlett, and then we got Mikey from South Australia and Ben Foster from WA.
No Vic's in the final, John.
Well, that's
make a change.
It does make a change. And you brought this up earlier, Phil, the fact that when there was a short field and you played one opponent at a time, you know, sort of the only 8 players.
It was quite.
Robbo was dominated that league.
Yeah.
You know, when it was reduced field. Now, because there's so many random players, I would have thought, you know, that he would still be coming running through. It didn't matter who he played. He'd be confident. He's hitting the ball so well, and it's a bit of a surprise we haven't seen him feature more.
Well, it's a lot tougher now, John. He's got to win 3 or 4 matches to make finals. He can draw all them tough players in the first round. And Rusty wins the event, gets beat first round the next day. Mikey in the final, he goes early.
Yep.
Simon Singleton wins the other event, doesn't win a match this time.
It just shows how balanced it is.
You got 32 very hungry and quality players out there, and I think it's going to be hard for anyone to dominate this time in that. When in that smaller field, I think you had more chance of doing it. Where even just in stage is a struggle, John. So I think moving forward, John, whoever's going to start rising to the top in that sport, they're going to have to dedicate themselves to that Cuesport, and because we're playing all the different codes, and I think one, the matches are timed, and second, that you've only got 30 seconds. Now, we're all used to playing under a shot clock, whether it was 9-ball or in 2-shot pool, but now you've only got 30 seconds, got to be quicker, and once you get behind in a match, you've got that extra pressure that, you know, I'm only 2 frames behind, but there's only 8 minutes to go, where before, 2 frames behind with 3 frames to go, you can still take your time and win, where now, new mindsets have to be formed.
Yeah, I think one thing that I've noticed is that it's critical to win the first frame.
Yeah.
Because once you have a win on the board, then all the time doesn't matter anymore. You can take that extra time to check your ball, where do I want to go, and then you can build the lead that way. It's when you're behind you're trying to catch up. But yeah, certainly winning the first frame, I think, seems to be a really important area or important factor in the match, because it just gives you a bit more freedom to relax next time than playing yourself around, playing your way around it. We'll see how that develops over the series, but that's something I just noticed. And I thought, well, very important to get that first tick on the board, and then just it means they're always playing catch up. It doesn't matter what game you play, what game you're playing. The scoreboard pressure still comes into play.
Well, it's all I can say. It's an exciting series, John. People are watching it. People are talking about it. I know on the weekend I was on my phone both days checking results, seeing how they're going, and wanting the SA people to do well. So anyway, congratulations, Mikey, getting to a final, and hopefully in the next couple of series we can have an SA victory.
Yeah, no, well, obviously congratulations to the winners, and obviously Ben Foster, part of that that group of young talent that's coming out of the West, and I think we're going to see more of them feature over the years too. And well done, Pockets, obviously, to Arthur and Jay. They run a great tournament, everyone loves it, so it's good for the game.
Well, the other exciting news for that, John, is obviously Jimbo, or James Georgiadis, been playing at the World 10 Ball Championships and the Las Vegas Open Championships, obviously in Las Vegas. So he was in Poland a few weeks ago, Vegas this time. He's jet setting around the world. And Pockets have joined with Matchroom Sports to
promote 9-ball
in Australia and have a 4 Oceania ranking tournaments. So I think we're going to be having world ranking events here in Australia.
Well, hey, it's amazing, because I mean, what's happened, Barry Hearn and the way he's taken on Cuesports across the board has been fantastic, and he actually made an offer to take over traditional two-shot pool in England many years ago, and for some unknown reason, through poor management, that he was his offer was shunned by the hierarchy of the day, and I think it put the game back 20 years.
Yeah.
But this might help, because he will see that by promoting that here, he'll see what Pockets has done, and then maybe we'll see a little more promotion of the smaller table as well.
Yeah. Well, John, for Arthur to have Matchroom as a partner, like that's a massive.
Actually, and that's recognition for your efforts, Arthur. This sort of thing doesn't just fall in your lap. People see what you're doing globally, and they go, "Hang on, we can actually we can help build on that and give them a foot straight into Australia, because the American game really hasn't really taken off here." It was talked about like 30 years ago, maybe longer, 40 years ago. I'm just trying to.
No, it's been
But now we're finally seeing some traction, and this will certainly help it boost again.
Yeah.
And if you have a look on the telly net, there's so many different Cuesports being promoted.
Yeah.
I'm an avid sports follower: golf, snooker, rugby, pool, whatever's going on, and I've noticed that I'm taping a lot of stuff now that wasn't accessible before.
Yeah.
We had to go to YouTube to find it, where this is a lot of the stuff you can actually see live on telly now, which is fantastic. So Cuesports is starting to get the recognition it deserves.
Well, with James being over in the World 10 Ball, we had some fantastic results over there from Australia. Well, first of all, James winning matches. He in the Las Vegas Open, he beat Garcia from the Philippines, a world-class player, and Jimbo beat him. Jimbo won a couple of matches in that tournament.
Yep.
So just the fact that Jimbo's winning matches at World Championships is amazing. And then that was in the Las Vegas Open.
Yep.
Then he went into the World 10 Ball, and he won a match, and then he played John Morra, who is from Canada, Alex Pagaline's double partner, another world-class player, and James beat him quite comfortable. So this is a player that features on World Cup of Pool and World Pool Masters regularly, and James got him like 9-4. So James, he beat an American, he beat South Korean. So Jimbo he didn't get to the pointy end of the tournament, you know, he's like last 32, but winning matches at world titles, John, is fantastic. So I think Jimbo did amazing to beat world-class players and win matches. So that was flying the flag for Australia.
Yeah.
And in the ladies, Bean from Queensland, who we all know so well, she is an amazing player.
A brilliant player. And
I think she's in that similar mould that you spoke about, Sue Thompson, because Bean has won the Australian Open 9 ball where she beat Joel Younger in the final. So anyone that beats Joel is a great player. So, but we've seen her here in the Scotch doubles, playing in the men's event, playing in the doubles, and she was a runner-up in the Vegas Open, John. So
it was fantastic.
To get an Australian in the final,
well,
we'll be able to.
We'll claim it. We claim it.
Well, she's been here for 10, 12, 15 years.
Well, obviously, well, we'll call Australia.
She's Australian. She's flying the Australian flag.
Yes,
it was Bean. So just for us to have an Australian in a final of a major event, John, that's televised around the world, it's fantastic. So Bean,
congratulations, Bean.
Super.
We're so proud of you and what you've done. And both Phil and I have spent a little bit of time with you in your last couple of trips to South Australia, and it's so cool to see you continuing to do well. And there's only one more step. We're positive you can make it.
And same with James, winning matches at world titles. Well done, James. Very proud of you. It's good watching you, and to just beat these players just shows James is now emerging on the world scene. He is as good as any of them players out there. He's now beating top
world-ranked players. Yeah. World-ranked players, and that's the sort of I think confirmation he needed. Yeah. He believed it, but every time he went away, he got beaten up.
Yeah.
And now he's going away and going, hang on, I can carry on.
Yeah. So well done.
I can compete, and I think each time he goes, he's going to get do better. We talk about the Resson that he brought there.
I think that he's going to be incredibly hard to beat here in Australia, especially now he's winning over there. His confidence is going to be super. I think Justin and Michael will both struggling. Anyone will struggle.
Anyone struggle. Well, that's right. He's starting to gain confidence and having that Resson at home to practice on and putting time in. He's got plenty of willing practice partners that go around there. So he will continue to sharpen his game, and we look forward to seeing even better results from you, Showboat, down the track.
Well, John, we've had international events and we've had state events now. We've spoken about before. We've got some local stuff here, John. We've got the billiards that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So we had the final of the billiards, which I predicted Peter Udich's team would win. And as usual, they lost the final. So Chris Wignall Chris Wignall and Tab Babiak defeated Peter and Ben Zalco. And on the night, it was a close match, but it boiled down to Peter Udich playing Tab Babiak. So two former state champions. And Tad had the highest break of the night in that match at 85, and he got Peter. So that really, in a four match tournament, John, and you've just knocked out the favourite in one of the matches, gave them a great advantage. Chris then beat Ben, so well done to Chris Wignall and Tab Babiak. They won the last season. Well, it was last year's, but it finished off this year. So
this year.
Well done the usuals on winning the billiards. And while we're on the billiards, John, we've got the minor state billiards, which is on the 13th of March, which is on a Monday night. So they run it on a Monday, Wednesday, and the finals the following Wednesday, which is in 2 weeks' time. So anybody interested in playing in the minor billiards, as long as you haven't made the state semi-finals in the last couple of years, you're okay to play. So that's open to anyone to get in there. So that's coming up. And then also we had the Championship League snooker on the 2 nights after the billiards, of which I told you Peter Udich would beat Jason Yu in the final, John.
Yep.
And got that one wrong as well. So Jason, we've spoken a lot about Jason, and it's not the Jason Yu show because I feel like it because we talk about him so much, but he defeated Peter 5-3 in the final. And in that final, John, Jason was 2-0 down, where Peter Udich had a 32 and a 39 break in the first 2 frames. Jason Yu then wins 4 in a row, where he had a 30, 34, a 36 and a 42 to go 4-2 up. And Peter pulled one back, and then Jason got him in a tight 8th frame, and Jason beat him 5-3. So not only did Jason come back from losing to him 4-1 in the first semi, he was 2-0 down in the final and got up and won. And we're only talking amateurs here, John, but for them to have six breaks over 30 in the final, I thought was really good, especially when I played in this year's final. I couldn't even make 24 in the final. So
look, understandable. But
with Jason now, John, he's the first player to win the Challenger League and the Championship League. Well, that's basically our A grade and B grade. So most of our A graders haven't played in the Challenger League, where Jason won the Challenger League and moved up and then won the Championship League. So, and he did it in back-to-back seasons, John, and only 14. So,
and only just 14 too.
Yeah, so fantastic effort. And I'm pretty sure, John, you spoke about him being in your 8-ball team, but I think LP, who sponsor him, I was sending him to a Cuesport academy in April when the school holidays are on. So he's going back to China for 3 or 4 weeks.
Fantastic opportunity, and it's great recognition for what he's achieved. And you know, that doesn't come about just because he happened to be a reasonable player. He's put the time in to get to where he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him in the hours you have, just putting in those hours. And yeah, he's getting better. I happen to notice, I reckon he's a bit taller.
He's getting taller.
He started, so I mean, that doesn't hurt in snooker either, the ability to have sort of be able to reach down the table a bit further. I mean, he's still a very good rest player, as you have to be in snooker, full stop. Doesn't matter how tall you are, you still have to use it eventually. But yeah, obviously, if he continues to grow, you know, it can only help him down the track.
Well, John, you know, we're talking about all the Cuesports and Jason winning the snooker, and he's won the 8-ball and the Australian titles. I think Jason will be the favourite to win the billiards as well, the minor billiards.
Okay.
He plays in the league and he has excelled. He will win the Australian billiards next year. He could have won it this year, but he didn't play in it. And I think in the minor billiards, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with, John. So I know I've cursed everything else, might as well.
Yeah.
He's quality on that game too. So we'll see how that one pans out.
Okay. Well, it would be remiss of me not to chat about the old dogs down in Tasmania in Hobart at the end of the month. There's still a few spots left. So if you're a master and you like to travel, come to Hobart. We have an absolute ball.
It is fantastic.
Their fourth event, and I've been to two of the previous 3, and certainly I'll be going this year. I think we've got about 12 South Australians going.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. So you sort of we've got both the goats, male and female. So we've got Lyndall's now 50, so she can play in that as well now. So we've got Alec, Lyndall, Stacey, John Lehman, Calvin Lee, Jason Ahmed, myself, Darren Munchenberg, Swifty, Peter Kennedy, Nick Tricolidis, and there's a couple more I can't remember, but yeah. So there's at least a dozen.
It's growing.
And that's just South Australia. You know, they have probably 20 locals. WA, the very first tournament, WA, I think they brought 8 players, but I don't know whether there's a restriction on how often they can get in and out of the state now. But
yeah, well,
that was their biggest scare, was that if anything happened, they'd be locked out. So that's why they stopped coming. But they had a ball, and they're all good enough to feature in the tournament. So.
Well, I went once, John, and I really enjoyed it. I just wished I could go again. It's a fantastic trip, and if you are available, it's well worth going.
Great trip.
And it's a superb prize, I mean, like $5,500 to the winner.
Yeah, great prize money, great weekend, good club, and fabulous atmosphere. You cannot go to a tournament and have a better time than that, with the exception of my tournament, of course. Phil,
same people in it, though.
Roughly the same people. That's right. Yeah. So that's look. I think we're probably close on that, Phil. We've covered most of what's happening right now. Next 2 weeks, we haven't got a whole lot going on, I don't think. I think we're ready to be a lot closer then to old dogs, and we'll start talking about probably state events coming up in terms of qualifying for certain state events coming up with the Bassa. But yeah, quite short this week. It's a miracle.
Only went for an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, John, it's always a pleasure. And as I said, anyone out there, if you've got any information, John and I look to talk about it.
Yeah,
So
just
please
send us
contact
stuff if you want us. We're more than happy to talk about it. Cuesports, doesn't matter what it is. We love the game across the board, and we're happy to support anyone that has tournaments running around the country. Thank you.
No worries. See you, John.
Cheers, mate.